What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr Wargames, and today, because you enjoyed it so much, I am bringing you a test and combo video for the Unchained live twin profile I showed you all the other day. So I also showed you some combos in that profile as well, so you can get started with what this deck can do. I'm now going to show you some random test stands going first and second, so you can see how it consistently can build up and how it synergizes between the two engines with the brand new introductions from the Unchained side. So with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. After a very decent shuffle and a good old cut, our opening hand of 5 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. That's all we need. Now obviously we're not going to be able to get into any live twin plays this turn, but we do have the ability to kickstart some of our Unchained plays. And like you saw in the original combo, all you need is a trap card and then a destruction. So we're going to be able to get the destruction in the form of the Abomination Prison by adding any Unchained card from our deck to our hand. Now, just because it's the new guy on the block, I'm going to go straight for the Shavara, and then we're going to be able to start getting everything cooking. So we're going to set our Abominable Chamber of the Unchained. We're then going to use the Shavara's effect in the hand. So as long as it is in the hand, quick effect, target a theme monster or a face-down card you control, and destroy it. If you do, special summon this card. So special summon down Shavara, trigger the effect the Abominable Unchained, and this will let us special summon an Unchained from the deck. And you can pretty much go for anything you want. You can go for a Ruha, you can go for Rakia. It doesn't matter because it's not going to be used to float on the board as it currently stands. So what we're going to do here is we're then going to link these two together, and this will then give us direct access to our Yama. Now probably with your best kind of option, even with this hand, we've still got plays to make, so it's not really that bad or that much of the end of the world. But you also get the ability to revolve the Shavara. So you'll go chaining 1 Yama, chaining 2 Shavara. Off of the back of that, you're probably going to want to go for a Adhara or a Ruha, wherever it may be. There we go, add the Ruha. Because you can still use it to special summon, so should your Sarama get stopped in any way, you still have that ability as well. So revolving the Shavara as well is going to allow you to set the escape of the Unchained. We then get to use the ability of normal summoning our Sarama. We can then use Sarama's effect to target one in the graveyard, and we're going to target, technically, you could target the Abomination's Prison if you wanted to, but ultimately you don't really, like, you've already used this effect. So you can only use this effect once per turn to add. You could technically destroy it, but we're going to go for the trap card in the world just to be safe. So we've got the follow-up for during our opponent's turn. We're then going to destroy a card in the field, which will be Escape. We'll then be able to trigger Escape's effect, and again, like you saw in the combo, we're going to go straight for Siyama. Siyama then has that ability from the graveyard to revive and go ham. So we're going to use the soul, both the souls, and we're going to go into our Unchained Soul of Rage. And then we're going to be able to use the graveyard effect of the Shyama to destroy the Sarama and trigger the Sarama's effect to summon from the deck. Now again, it's entirely up to you. If you wanted to trigger your Lord of Yama right now, you could do. So you go chaining 1, chaining 2. Again, chain blocking off the back of this. This would then get us a Rakia, wherever she may be. There we go. Just so we've got another monster on the board. And then, of course, we will resolve the Unchained Soul Yama. Banishing this, bringing back your Savara. Savara can then overlay and go into our rank 6 of High Wave King Caesar. Now you still got Ghost Spell. Opening up 2 Ghost Spells isn't the most ideal, obviously. If you really wanted to, you could do a Ruha, but we've already used the Unchained Chamber. So the idea is behind this, what you're going to want to try and do is during your opponent's turn, you're probably going to want to use the Rakia rather than the Abominable Chamber. Or if your opponent tries to target this, you can activate and bring back the Sarama and then still the exact same play. The idea is that off of the Rakia, you're going to want to destroy either the Chamber or Sarama, whatever you've kind of brought back or floated. And you're going to want to get into your Unchained Soul of Anguish. Abominable Unchained Soul, sorry. And then, of course, this will give you the ability to discard and pop, and that's where Ghost Spell can come into play, as well as also having the 2 negates off of Caesar, and, of course, the link off of your Rage to go into a Unicorn. So you still got a couple of plays to make if you wanted to. Depends on whatever your opponent tries to put towards you or what they try to do to break your board. So that was obviously with just a direct route to a pop and of course into the Unchained route of plays. Very short, sweet and simple. It's not like a 20 card combo or anything else like that. It's just very direct that if you open up Unchained, you've got one route to go. If you open up the Evil Twins, you've got another route to go. And if you upload both, you can go down whichever route you choose. So after another decent shuffle and another good old cut, we'll do another test hand going first, being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, again, no direct access to the Live Twins, but the Live Twins is playing a secondary role to this deck anyway, so it's not that big of an issue. So again, what you've got here is you've got the 2 pop factors here, so as long as this one stays on the board and your opponent doesn't bounce it, you're in a very good position. So we'll go with the Savara first, destroying the escape of the Unchained. This is going to be obviously the little bit of the better combo because you're going to get more disruption from the back row, and you've also got a nib follow-up should they like Dark Ruler you or break your board or anything else like that. So for the back of the escape, we're going to go for the Rakia. We're then going to link the Rakia and the Savara, and we're going to go into our Yama. Then going to use the effect of the Savara and your Yama. Yama will then search you out, your Sarama, and of course your Savara is going to set you the Abominable Chamber of the Unchained. You can then normal summon the Sarama. You can then use Sarama's effect to target escape, destroy chamber. Chamber's effect will now trigger, and this will then give you direct access to Shama. Shama's effect will obviously be able to trigger in the graveyard, so you need to get it there first. So we're going to link these two together. You're going to go into your Unchained Soul of Rage. Now we're going to want to use the effect of the Shayama. You're going to get rid of Sarama, triggering Sarama's effect, and you can also trigger Yama's effect again. Depends on how far you want to push. I'm going to do so just so I can get the Rakia to the board. There we go. And then this is currently what our board looks like. Now if you wanted to push it that bit further, you could do, because what you can do is you can overlay these here. And because we haven't used the float effect of the Rakia yet, you could technically activate your Aruha. Aruha could then destroy the Rakia, summoning itself down, basically replacing the fodder for the escape, and then triggering the Rakia's effect. And this will then allow you to get the other Unchained Soul from the deck. Now I would be going straight for Disaster as a 3k booty. If you wanted to, you could link up, but you are locked into Fiends. For now, we're pretty much going to sit on an Unchained Soul of Rage. Plus, you've got Escape of the Unchained, pop in either of these, mainly this one to float. And then, of course, you've got the 2 negates over the back of this. And when a card is destroyed, you get to special summon this card as well. Now, obviously, you can only special summon it once per turn, but it does give you that discard and pop, so you can get rid of the Nibiru if you want to as well. So that was it again, another very sweet, short and simple kind of test stand. I like how direct this deck is. Now let's start going second. Let's hope that that 6th card can unlock us our engine for the Live Twins. The Live Twins obviously give us a greater capability to break boards while also maintaining a bit of advantage. So, like I said, it is only playing a secondary factor to this deck. It's a little bit different from the previous version of this deck that I did, where we ended up, like, it was pretty much a 50-50 split between the two. But this one, with all the new support for the Unchained, it's just a lot easier to kind of do it as a nice balance of predominantly the Unchained with a balance of hand trap involvement and, of course, the Live Twins as well. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is now going to be all Live Twins. 5, 6. Wow, okay, broken. I'm going to show you a way how you can actually... So there's a way you can get into your Unchains without even needing to go through... without even opening up your Unchained. So as long as you open up a destruction effect, you're just basically able to get into your Link 2 monster. So you can actually get into your Yama, because Yama just requires 2 Fiend monsters, and it's actually very easy to do through the back of your Live Twins. So we're going to normal summon our Kisakill. Kisakill's effect is going to trigger, and this is going to allow you to special summon out a Leela, wherever she may be. There we go. Obviously, you can activate Sunny Snitch, and that's what I'm going to do here because we're going to get that extra summon to the board. So by activating the Sunny Snitch, we're going to go for a Frost, and you're going to special the Frost down. Now, obviously, we are going second. Ideally, you want something like this to go first because a lot of this can be interrupted. There's just ways that they can kind of poke away with it, imperm it, baron it, you name it. So now we've got this. You want to get Frost to the graveyard first because Frost is going to act as your ability to get you a draw should your opponent search. Now, if you want the draw, you go for key skill first. If you want the pop, you go for Leela. So because we're going second, you probably want the Leela. And the best thing about this, so this is how you can get into your Unchained without actually opening up any Unchained monsters, is technically what I could do is I can go Leela, and then Leela's effect will bring back key skill Frost. I can then technically leave Frost on the board if I wanted to and use this key skill. It doesn't make much of a difference which one you do. Actually, let's just get rid of Frost just so it stays in the graveyard. And then, of course, you go for your key skill. You can then use key skill's effect. This will then allow you to bring back your Leela, and Leela lets you target a card on the field. So you can target your opponent's card, or you can target your own Escape of the Unchained. In doing so, this will then allow you to special from your deck any Unchained monster that you want. Now, technically, as we are going second, your Unchained Soul of Disaster is probably your best one to go to, because then you can link it away with your opponent's monster. And then if they've got like a link 2, you can go into your link 3, then into your link 4, and just continue to climb. You've also got to remember that you still have your Aruha, so if you need that additional monster on the board, you can go for it as well. So I'm just trying to think the best way to do this, because technically I don't actually need to use Disaster. I can actually go for Sarama instead. Now, if you want Sarama to recycle your Escape of the Unchained, so you've got another pop or an interruption during the next turn, you can very easily get Sarama to pop either your Kill, you can snitch, anything like that. Technically, if you want the draw, you can actually use Sarama to bring back Escape and then destroy your Kill. And then what you can do here is you can use Leela to bring back your Kill and draw a card. Now, obviously, you are locked into Fiends, but that's not really an issue. Again, another option as well, if you didn't destroy the Kill, is you could actually link it off, and that's how you're going to be able to get more Unchained cards. So let's just rewind that a little bit as well, just so you can kind of see how we can make this one play. So rather than recycling the Unchained right now, let's say we get rid of the Kill, and we'll go into Yama. Yama's effect can let you search, while also then you'll get the ability a little bit later on to special summon off the back of the Leela. So we will search for, wherever it may be, our Savara. Shove this up here. And then, of course, you can use Leela to bring back Kill to get a draw. Prison, nice. And now we're in the position again where we can push that a little bit further. So, honestly, I would probably set the prison. Like, I don't want to add anything. I've got everything I need in my hand. And locking myself in the Fiends, I've already done that when I brought back the Kill and the Leela. So, it's not really that big of an issue. What can be pretty good now going forward is if I wanted to, I could go into Rage. But I'm probably, as I'm going second, going to go into Anguish. So we'll use this Kill and we'll use the Lord of Yama. We'll go into Anguish. Obviously, the only reason you'd go into Anguish is if you can link into one of your opponent's monsters. So you're going to be able to do that, linking that, and going into Abomination. Now what you want to do is you actually have the ability to use Aruha. Aruha can then destroy the prison. And then you're going to be able to trigger the prison effect. Now, if you wanted to, again, as well, keep in mind we haven't used the Savara in hand, is you could use your Unchained Soul Lord of Yama. And the best thing about this is if a card is destroyed, you get to banish it and special summon one Fiend monster from the hand or graveyard. Doesn't need to go to attack, doesn't need to go to defense, which means I can actually bring back Anguish if I wanted to. Now, obviously, at this exact moment in time, I'm not going to do that because I'm going to trigger the effect of the spell card to bring out Unchained Soul of Disaster. Now, this one lets you target a monster your opponent controls, and immediately after this effect resolves, link summon a dark link monster. So it doesn't have to be Fiendlock or anything like that. As long as their link ratings add up to what I need it to be, I can very easily link into something like a Unicorn. So let's say they've got a link 2, I can use Unchained Soul of Disaster, we can link into a Unicorn, and because we're going second and being very aggressive, we can use Unicorn's effect to discard, spin, and draw a card. There we go. Now we've got all the Unchained, and we still have that ability, should we want to bring back Disaster. Now we are into Fiends, so you can very easily use Kill and Leela now that we've got the co-link draw off of that, and go into your Trouble Sunny. Keep in mind that when you destroy a card as well, you also have the ability to destroy an additional card off of Abomination, so you're getting the best of everything you need. Now this board is more than enough and more than aggressive enough to kind of finish the job off, but just because we want to go that little bit further, you can very easily use the Savara's effect. Savara can then destroy the Aruha and summon itself down. Now you've got the ability again of Aruha, or you've got the ability of course, wherever it may be, your Yama. We're not actually going to do that, we're actually just going to resolve the Aruha, because Aruha can then give us access to The Shoma will then be able to have the Graveyard, Destruction, Revival, you name it, you need it. And it depends if you want to link higher or not. Now, obviously, we've mainly got link 2s on this one, but you do have that ability of a link 4. So you could very easily get rid of Unicorn and get rid of the Unchained Soul and go into Griffin. Griffin then will give you the ability to recycle, and you're just going to go in a constant loop for how high you want to kind of link climb, how high you want to draw, and everything else like that. If you need to pick a board apart, you name it. So it's entirely up to you on how far you want to take this. Otherwise, you very easily can make a rank 6. Like I said, you've still got the Yama in the Graveyard, and if you really need to, because this is a quick effect, you can bring back the last 2 Evil Twins and Leelas just to get that final bit of damage in during the battle phase if you need to. Chances are you shouldn't need to. This board is well and truly built and stacked. But I suppose the one kind of criticism that you'll have of this is the fact that technically going second, we had no board breakers. So we were relying on our opponent to pick apart some of our boards or just brick horribly. So, okay, so now we're going to shuffle up. We'll do our final test and go in second just so you can kind of see how it all operates. So after a very decent shuffle and another good old cut, our final test stand of 6 will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, again, a pretty decent hand. We don't even need to use Prosperity in this, which is absolutely insane. You can probably activate it to kind of bait your opponent out, but you kind of want to still do your double damage. Well, not double damage, but normal damage. So you can normally summon a Kisa Kill, Kisa Kill's effect. This is the only difference or the issue with having Kisa Kill and access to Frost rather than the other way around. Because if you had Leela and Leela got stopped, and you had something like either your Trouble Sunny or of course your Kisa Kill Frost, you still had a way to get it to the board. Whereas now you don't really have that. So now we're going to special summon down Frost anyway. And then you're going to want to link these off. So I usually put Frost in the Graveyard, just so you kind of got it all set, ready to go. I'm then going to start with Kisa Kill, because we're going to go with the draw first, and then we'll go with a pop. There we go. So we go Kisa Kill, bring back Leela, link Leela and Kisa Kill together, and go into Leela. Leela's effect will then trigger to bring back your Kisa Kill to draw you a card. Now what you want to do is you've got the ability to set your Escape of the Unchained, and you can use the Aruha. The Aruha will then lock you into Fiends from this point on. Absolutely fine. Destroying the Escape of the Unchained and triggering the effect to special from the deck. So we're going to go directly into an Unchained Soul. Now obviously if you wanted to be a little bit more aggressive because you are going second, you probably want to be going for something like the Unchained Soul of Disaster, because this will allow you to link with your opponent's monsters. And the chances are if they've got a link 2, you can link with that link 2, go into Anguish, and then Anguish links with another one of your monsters, giving you an instant access to a link 4 monster. All absolutely hunky-dory and fine. We're going to go a little bit of a different way, and we're going to be going for our Shavara, just to kind of showcase the new card and how it can actually help you set up additional extensions, additional plays should you need it. So then what you're going to want to do here, keeping in mind we haven't actually used its hand effect, which is really, really important. Because what you're going to want to do here is you're going to want to use Leela, so the one card that you didn't bring back, and the Unchained Soul, as they are both Fiends. This will then allow you to get into Yama. You'll then be able to go chaining 1 Yama, chaining 2 of your Shavara. So Shavara will then let you set a trap card. Now we want to set the card that didn't get used, so we'll go for the Abominable Chamber. And then of course your Yama's effect is going to trigger. We've already used our normal summon, but we haven't used the summon effect from the hand for the Shavara. So that's very, very important as well. Shuffle this up. And the reason that's so important is we've got technically 2 targets for this. We can destroy the Abominable Chamber, or of course we can destroy the Aruha. Before you want to do that, you want to activate Kisa Kill, you want to bring back Leela. This will then give you a pop of one of your opponent's monsters or cards in general. So you'll be able to pick apart as you go. If you wanted to go that a bit further for a bit of aggression, you could link these off, but you can keep them as free fodder at this moment in time. Now before you use the Savara and kind of commit so many more resource to the board, it's very easy to go into your Unchained, because your Unchained just requires 2 monsters, including an Unchained Soul, which of course your Yama is. So if you wanted to go lower links, it's entirely up to you. Or of course, if you wanted to maintain the link value, you can very easily go into Anguish using Yama and Kisa Kill, and then use your Anguish, choosing that your opponent definitely has a monster on the board, and this will then allow you to link into your Abomination. Now obviously if you make your Abomination before you bring back Leela, when you do bring back Leela and destroy a card, this will then destroy an additional card as well. So you're gaining even more advantage off of the back of that. You can then use your Savara effect in hand. We're going to destroy the Abominable Chamber of the Unchained, trigger the Abominable Chamber of the Unchained, and this will then let us float into a Sarama if you want to, or of course you can just go directly for the rank 6 play. We're going to go into Sarama because then Sarama is going to have the ability to reset the trap card should we want it for a follow-up and we can't complete this OTK, and go into Escape. And on this one, you'd probably want to destroy your Aruha because it's the only one that hasn't floated yet, and Sarama cannot destroy herself. So it's entirely up to you if you want to go for the Shimer, but I'm probably going to go directly into Dog Ear. And what we mean by Dog Ear is we're going to be going straight for the Soul of Disaster. The reason we go with Disaster is Disaster can use its effect to link with one of our opponent's monsters, should you want to, and it only needs to go into a dark link. So technically you can open up the door to go into something like a Muckraker, you can go into something like a Unicorn as well, and the best thing about Unicorn is you can use itself, plus a link to your opponent controls, go into Unicorn. As Unicorn is co-linked, we'll ditch the Prosperity, we'll draw a card, and we'll spin a card back. That's not it, because then you can still use your Key to Kill and your Leela, and you can go into, wherever it may be, your Evil Twin Trouble Sunny. So now the only thing left on our board that I wouldn't say is an issue, but it is kind of probably, you kind of want to destroy it so that it can float, is the Sarama. But again, that's a very easy link 4 right there if you want to. You're locked into Fiends, but all of the cards from your extra deck are going to be Fiends anyway. And we've done all of this without even needing to use Prosperity. And if you need that little bit of extra damage during the battle phase, then of course you use Trouble and you bring back Leela and Key to Kill. Obviously you won't get the draws or anything like that because you've already used them, but you would still just get the final damage in. Like, who needs an additional draw and additional pop if you're going to try to push, if not guarantee game by making that play. And if your opponent doesn't make it to the end phase, Abomination can start picking off bits as well in the end phase. So that's it for the test stand video. I hope this has given you a better insight into the video. I thought it was kind of cool that our first 2 hands was able to showcase what the Unchained can do now. And then our second test stand in the form, or I'll go in second test stands with the Live Twins, was able to show you what the Live Twins can now do with the deck and how it can be minimized and utilized to its max potential. Anyway, I hope you found this informative and giving you a breakdown of the deck. If you do have any questions, by all means, please put them in the comments down below. I will be more than happy to answer them for you. But for now, as absolutely always, stay safe and, of course, happy dueling.